I know I was watching someone else's podcast and he starts, but then he doesn't tell you he started. So you were just talking and now you're...
That's a great way to trick people, but I don't think that it works. I think it probably does work very well, but it doesn't... It's not like you tricked me because I saw you start. I saw you go, okay, we're going to press this button and we're going to press that button. So it's like, I don't feel... I wasn't like, what's going on here?
I don't like anything that's based on trickery.
I love everything that's based on trickery. When I was younger, I was a compulsive liar. But it wasn't because it's fun to lie, and I don't think anyone will ever tell you any different. It's very fun to lie. I've learned to not do it about anything that matters. The only real time that you should be lying is for fun. That's usually when I lie. Is like if it's fun. Also, People tell me that I lie often. Not true. They're wrong, and I'll tell you why they're wrong. Because if I'm lying, I don't want you to know that I'm not telling the truth. I want you to know that I'm not telling the truth. That's how it's playing. That's the difference between playing and lying. If I talked to you right now and I was like, yeah, my ankle's really messed up. And you were like, yeah, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah, it's just, I don't know, something's wrong with my ankle. That's lying, because my ankle's fine. But If I was like, oh, my ankle, it's so obviously not real.
So exaggerating versus lying.
No, it's not exaggerating, because I'm still not telling the truth, but I'm letting you know that I'm not telling the truth.
Oh, so you just like playing with people.
Exactly.
Like fucking with people.
No, it's not even fucking with them. I think playing is a better word. I like to play, and it's a state which I'm often in, and I've learned from some very close friends who had a sit-down talk with me that, I'm not going to say their names, but they sat down and they had a quick discussion with me that we don't really know when you're being serious and when you're, doing one of your things. And I was like, what? It blew my mind.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was obvious that I'm like, oh, if I'm sitting in the car like, and then I think that's obvious.
Okay, so for me, I can handle like the most confrontational people, but what I can't handle is the kind of like a polite confrontation where I become aware that people have discussed it ahead of time, or if even just one person thought about it a lot.
Yeah.
Then I almost hate the other person.
Well, you know what it is? It's always you can have the turnaround of people being like, have you ever had like someone, not a bad opinion about somebody, but someone does something and they do it a lot, and then you eventually tell them, and they're the one doing the wrong thing, but then they hit you with so how long have you felt this way? And then they flip it on you. Because that's kind of what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Is you're like, I don't like the fact that you didn't tell me immediately the second that it happened. I don't like the fact that you didn't tell me all of your feelings all at once anytime you ever feel them.
I do think there's something to be said about confronting people in the moment, which is why I think I have a lot of patience for confrontational people, because I feel safe with them. Like, they let me know, and then I don't feel a lot of guilt. But I do also think, yeah, if someone's mad at you, you can't be mad at them then about the way they were mad at you. You kind of got to go, well, like, the original thing was me doing this bad thing.
Yeah, there's something that comes... First of all, sounds like you had a great childhood. And then second of all, I definitely do think that you can be mad at somebody for, like, holding something, but you're not allowed to... That doesn't negate the thing that you did. And I think a lot of the times when people get into confrontation post whatever happened, it is very much them going like, oh, you made me feel this way. And then they're like, well, you made me feel this way. They're not okay, we'll talk about that later. We can talk about that later if you want, but we can't talk about that now because we're doing my thing. And it bothers me because I definitely have a way of going about myself that's not necessarily standard or like what people are used to or what they like. And so I often, if someone does something and I'm like, listen, you've done this like 3 times. Can you not? And then they're like, why didn't you tell me the first time? I wouldn't have done it the other 2. It's like, that's not the point. It really does bother me because I feel like because then they're not even listening. I don't know. It feels like people are using leverage where they're like, I'm not in trouble. You're in trouble.
Yeah. It's not gaslighting. It's something though. I don't know,
bargaining. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm not a therapist, despite the fact that a lot of people think that I am.
You do sort of sound like a therapist.
The amount of people that tell me like the worst thing that's ever happened to them, and I'm like, I didn't need this right now. But then I'm the asshole, because then when they're like, and then he came in the room, and I can't be like, I don't care. I can't do that, because then I'm a dick. But it is a lot. It's a lot for me to like just sit there and go, oh, that sucks. Have you considered, it's a lot mentally for me to take on.
Do you feel like you have to take it on? Like, or you do sort of play that role?
I absolutely play that role with like everybody. There are even friends that I've had that I've done that with, and they're like, normally I'm the person talking about people's problems, and I'm like, yeah, me too. But it's always me. It's always me. And look, I'm happy to help people. I really want to help people, but sometimes I'm tired, and I don't. And it takes every ounce of me to not just be like, stop being a pussy. And so, like, that's in my head, but verbally, I'm like, that must be so hard for you. But there's absolutely. There's a line where it's like, I've taken too much. There's too much for me to deal with.
I feel like that, I don't know, just sometimes I would just like to give the funny answer rather than the sincere one. But I do feel like I'm...
But, there are people that don't like that. Because I've done it where I give the funny... So there are times where I'll drop something that I think is funny, and then it will offend the other person, and I'm like, no. I was just being playful with you. I was trying to play with you, which should be a good thing. Like, you should feel good about that. But some people take it personally because they're like, you're laughing at me. Why are you laughing at me? It's like, I'm not laughing at you. I'm trying to laugh together. I'm trying to play, have a good time right now. If we were on the playground, and then I came over to you, and I was like, hey, and then I like give you a little shove. I'm not like, unless I'm like, which I've done, but unless I'm like, and I actually am just like, I'm like, hey, then it's like I'm trying to start something up. It's a playful poke. But some people are, sensitive is a bad word, but sensitive. So they take the poke and they go, ow! Yeah. So yeah, that's to say, I guess I do sound like a therapist, but I don't there's a lot of the times I don't want to play that role.
Yeah. Do you think it's just your voice and that's where it comes from? Or
what about my voice sounds like a therapist?
I don't know.
But don't I have quite this high, squeaky voice for a man?
I never thought about your voice. I think it's just because we're doing this. But now I'm like, yeah, if I was casting a therapist, you're too young, but you have the voice for it. Like, when you're older, that'll be like, you could get typecast that, right? Like, it's...
I don't know. I think I have a pretty manly voice, personally.
But
no, I mean, like I think that it's like
therapist can be a manly voice. It's just
no. I mean, I think that personally, like this is just. I think that I like because people do tell me that I have a bit of a higher pitched voice, but I don't think so. I mean, I think I have a fairly regular voice. No, I don't know. I think that part of it is just I'm very analytical. I'm quite direct with people, and it comes in my voice because you can hear it in my nose. I'm speaking directly into my nose when I talk. And I think it just comes off as like, oh, he's smart. He's well actually your father. Like that's what it comes off as.
Yeah.
Yay or nay?
It's like the personality if you're analytical and you like to sort of like be back from things and then talk about them.
What about my voice is a therapist? What do you think a therapist sounds like?
It's soothing. It's not.
I have a soothing.
It's not like the height of it. I have no idea how to talk about a voice. It's not high or low, which is pitch.
Yeah.
It's the cadence.
The way in which I go up and down when I talk.
So it may be a radio experience.
I will say I really like this because we've been talking about me for the fact. There's nothing I like more than talking about me.
Amazing.
I love talking about me. Hey, just getting people's opinion on me. Just like, hey, what do you think about me? That's my favorite subject, is me.
It's relaxing, yes?
What's relaxing?
To talk about yourself?
I actually don't think so because the entire time I'm in my head, I'm like, because I'm gathering, I'm like, oh, they think this about me? I like this, I don't like that. And so it's like, oh, I need to do this more, I need to do that less. I'm very...
Oh. But do you find it depends on the person? Because some people, when we talk about me, I really don't like it. Mm-hmm. But with a lot of people, I find it really relaxing.
Like if I was talking about you?
Yeah. Like maybe not right now because we're filming.
Okay.
But...
I don't want it on camera.
Or if you were talking about me and there was a bunch of people around, that might be a lot. But in general, it feels like if we're talking a lot about me, it feels like the other person cares. So it's like comforting.
I think I take it the other way, where if people are talking about me a lot, I'm like, what's your game? What are you doing? You trying to curry favor? You trying to get on my good side? I'm suspicious. I don't trust people.
See, maybe I just don't know how to get on people's good side, and then that's why I don't know when they're doing it to me.
Oh, I'm skeptical of absolutely everybody, to the point where in a lot of like my friendships, people are like, "They're great, aren't they?" And I'm like, "No, I don't think so." And then like 2 years later, I thought, "You were right." No, I know.
Okay. So I want teach me, what are the things that tip you off?
Oh, vibe. That's really it. Things that tip you off is like if somebody is. Here's the thing. There's a difference between being kind and being nice. Being nice is very anybody could do it. An asshole can be nice, but being kind is different. Sometimes to be kind, you have to be mean. Mm-hmm. They're two completely separate things. If you notice someone is overly nice, it's probably a bad thing, because if no one is 100% nice. Everyone has all of the complexities of who they are, and so if someone's all the way nice, they're faking it. Anytime you can tell someone's faking it, note it. Because why are you faking it? For what reason? For who?
Yeah. So, and I get the kind thing. Like you can be nice and then you don't tell someone their fly's undone.
Exactly. Because you're being nice.
So kind is uncomfortable sometimes because you might embarrass someone.
Not even embarrass.
Or disagree with them.
If you were doing something really annoying, I'd go, "Hey, you need to stop that." That's not very nice, is it?
It's just your boundary.
No, it's not. It's not even that. Like, if everyone was annoyed by the fact that, you're always coming up and, not talking about anyone in particular, but if, let's say your name was Karen, and you were always coming up to people and just, like, inserting yourself in the conversation, and everyone's like, ugh, this again, it would be kind of me to tell you, hey, people don't really like when you do that.
Yeah. Uncomfortable.
I can see you processing it. You're like, do I do that? No, you don't do that. I'm making it up. I'm lying. You see what I mean?
Yes.
But it's a kind thing to do, to be the bearer of bad news sometimes.
So do you find that hard to do?
Oh, so hard to do. I hate making someone feel bad. It's one of the hardest things for me to do. It's one of the reasons that I really like playing. Because anytime I'm playing, I can do literally anything. But when we're both in play mode, you're like, oh, but this is fun. And so if we're in play mode, I can do anything, and the chance of me hurting your feelings is so low. But if we're just genuinely talking to each other, I really miss out on a lot of things, and so I can accidentally hurt your feelings a lot. But if I'm playing, you go, oh, he's just messing around. But if I'm being genuine and I say something that hurts someone's feelings, which happens to me a lot because I don't know, oh, this is going to hurt their feelings. Yesterday, someone asked me, they're like, what do you think of my hairstyle? And I was like, I was like, oh, I'm glad they said something about like a middle part and a side part. And I was like, I'm glad you didn't do the middle part. You look like Johnny Depp and Willy Wonka. And they would. But, I get that that's kind of, they're like, oh, because it sounds like an insult.
Yeah, but they didn't even have it.
No,
you
exactly.
You were just talking about a hypothetical look they could have.
I know, but some people take offense when if I say something that I think is true, but I don't register that it will hurt someone's feelings, it happens often. I feel really bad because I'm like, oh, I didn't even know, and now they feel bad. And then I can just go, hey, I'm really sorry, but I meant what I said, so that sucks, because I can't go, I didn't mean it, because I did. I'm not going to lie to you. I am going to lie to you. A lot.
Apologies are a weird thing, because you have to mean it, and sometimes you're like, I mean, I'm sorry that you feel bad, but like, I'd do it again.
No. Apologies... For me, I don't know how my relationship. First of all, I'm so distracted by this couch right now. I've been rubbing my hand on it the entire time, so I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit. This is a very interesting. It's like a poodle. How many poodles did you kill?
It's faux. I promise. I find it
like
hard to sit in. Like, I thought it was going to be an amazing reading chair, but like this one is actually easier because I can lean down in it, whereas with that one I fall off.
Yeah, it's too slippery, and also anytime you want to read, you have to be able to have the positions.
Yeah, it's
This is how I like to read very often. Is if I'm reading, I'm like this, and then I go like this. I'm doing a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of a chair you like have to sit up in it. But it
yes.
also...
Well, that's most chairs.
It's deceptive because it looks really comfy.
No, I don't think it does. When I came into this room and I saw this chair, I went, that's not going to be a good chair.
Oh, shit.
It's not a judgment on you. Not a judgment on you, because it does look like a nice chair. But anytime a chair looks like something like this, you go, yeah, that's for decoration. Okay. It's like an art piece chair where they have it in an exhibit. They're like, don't sit on it. It just looks great.
Do I need to be more like you? Because I feel like I wasn't suspicious of that chair at all.
You know, but it's a double-edged sword, because I'm suspicious of everyone, so I don't trust anybody. And so because I don't trust anybody...
You don't even have a chair at your house.
No, I have no chairs. I have one very, very old couch that it's so low that my legs are like up like this when I'm in it. It's horrible.
But the trust thing, is this...
Yeah. What about the trust thing? What are you trying to get at? What are you doing?
I want to hear more about your suspiciousness.
Yeah. Just in general?
And just how it affects you.
Okay, so for the most part, I'm suspicious of everybody when I first meet them. I'm scoping everybody out the second that I meet them. I'm talking to them and I've noticed this. I'm aggressive with people when I first meet them, but not aggressive in the way of like, what are you doing? What's up? I'm very aggressive in the way of like, I start like getting very energetic and like hitting them with a lot of energy and just sort of seeing how they react.
It's a test.
I guess so. I don't do it on purpose. I recognized this yesterday that I was like, I do that. Whenever I meet someone that I don't really know, I do one of two things. I either retreat and just start going like, yeah, okay, sure. Or I go really into them like, how do you feel about Oreos? What's your opinion on Oreos? If you were to eat if I were to tell you, hey, here's a cookie, and then I handed you an Oreo, how would you feel? I just really go at them.
And I can remember times when we've talked and it's like that. But is that just you're just having fun?
A lot of the times I am having fun, but it's also for me, playing is definitely like a bit of a defense, because when I'm playing, like I said earlier, everything can be allowed, and also I don't have to be genuine. Being genuine with people, very difficult for me. I find it very difficult to be genuine with people.
Because then people might get mad at you.
People might get mad at me. People might not like me. People, like showing people who I genuinely am in my soul, and then having them judge that, it's tough. Because then they're judging me. They're not judging what I was doing. They were judging me. It's one of the reasons that I'm not great at voices, but I do voices all the time. Because it's like, oh, I'm playing a character. And if they're mad at anyone, they're mad at the character. Or they don't like anyone, they don't like the character. There's not they don't like me.
I haven't heard you do it, but do you do voices in your stand-up?
Yeah, but they're not great. Like I'm not doing like great impressions. It's me just going like, oh my god, so the other day, and I'm doing stuff like that.
Okay. But I like that.
What's up? How you doing? Like I can do stuff like that, but I'm not. If you ask me to like do an impression, it'll be bad. But I'm also not embarrassed about doing impressions the way other people are.
See, I'd almost rather see a comic do their own characters, like their Valley Girl voice, than do, Trump or someone specific.
I can't do Trump. I've tried to do Trump. I can't do Trump. I can't do impressions. I told you. But no, it's impressive when people can do it. Like when someone just really nails an impression, I'm like, oh, you lucky bitch. I despise seeing other people be good at stuff. Makes me feel bad.
But what stuff is most triggering? Like jealousies in comedy, especially.
Oh, specifically in comedy? That's tough. I guess when someone just has like a really clever word setup. I actually don't know. I'm kind of just making something up to answer the question. I don't have something coming to mind.
I guess I'm asking because I've been noticing. I think lately I'm jealous of people's crowd interactions. But for a long time it was just people's performance energy or charisma being like when it's really...
Yeah, but I think it's a different, when you're doing stand-up, and I'm an idiot, you shouldn't listen to me, but I'll tell you. So I think that when you're doing your thing and they're doing their thing, it's very easy to look at them and go, oh, what they're doing is great. But it's like, that's them. Don't try to be them, try to be you. It's the most cliche thing ever. But just take yourself, take your good parts and your bad parts, and then just set them up to the max. I go on stage with a lot of energy usually. I'll be very opinionated and just be very silly too. Where like how do you feel about how many? A lot of times when people would talk to the crowd, they'll be like, "Oh, what's your name? Where are you from? You guys in a couple?" I'll ask them questions. I'm like, "Do you think you could wear a do-rag?" Like, because I think it's how. I mean, I guess it's because this is how I interact with a lot of people that I don't know. Is I'm like, let me think of something that I'm interested in, and then I can talk to you about it. Because a lot of times people try to talk to me about things, and I'm really uninterested. Not because what they're saying isn't interesting, but just because what they're saying is like so normal.
Generic.
No, not what was that?
Generic?
Yeah, generic is a good word. Because it's like, oh, how's your job? Oh, how's this? And it's like, neither of us care. Why are we both pretending to care about this thing that neither of us care about? It blows my mind. Like, why are we sitting here and just like, oh, those are nice jeans. Where you get those jeans? Oh, I got these from Old Navy. It was 2 for $20. It's like, 2 for $20? That's a great deal. No one in this conversation cares. We're both just like trying to move it forward. But if I ask you a question, this is a question that I like to ask people, is what's your least favorite type of dessert? Because it gets people, it's like a genuine question where like it's nothing personal, but people go, what is my least favorite type of dessert? And then, someone will be like, well, my grandmother used to make this thing and it was disgusting. I go, oh yeah. And then they start telling me about their grandmother. It starts the conversation, like a genuine conversation, rather than just like, oh, how's work going? They're like, oh, same thing. And you're like, I know. It's like, why are we doing a conversation where we already have lines? Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. So back to jealousies. What are your
I deflected, yeah.
Your non-stand-up related jealousies?
Oh, I don't like attractive people. Anyone who's too good looking makes me upset. Because it's like, fuck you. It's so simple. It's literally just like, fuck you. Because it's... Especially like have you ever walked down the street, saw like an attractive guy with like, I mean, maybe for you an attractive woman,
yeah,
and they have like a guitar on your back. You're like, pick one. You can have one. Like if that guy tells a joke, I'll punch him in the face because it's just something that I'm jealous of because it gets you so much and you didn't earn it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then also people give so much to someone's appearance when it's like, that actually has nothing to do with who they are. That was just something that they were just thrown that, and then it's developed who they are, but it's nothing about who they are.
And I think there was always, for me, a jealousy around someone with like heightened attractiveness. But then more recently, there's this kind of information that's people are talking about a lot, which is that if you're better looking, people tend to assume that you're smarter and assume all these... like assume a higher level of competency.
Absolutely.
So then it's like that highlighted a level of things that just seem like wildly unfair.
Yeah. So I think, people talk about pretty privilege, and I think it's a dumb thing to call it because it's so, the words that people call things, I think sometimes don't actually represent what they are. And so that kind of just sounds like it's pretty privilege, but it's actually a thing where you treat, quite literally, you treat people who are attractive better. Or I can even just say differently. Like if, let's say you had a kid and you were at a playground and some guy comes up and he's like really conventionally attractive. He goes, oh, what's going on, kiddos? And then, they're like, oh, what a sweet man. He loves kids. But if the same, like a guy who comes up and he's ugly, he's like, how's it going, kids? You're like, get away. Get away from my child. Meanwhile, that could be the sweetest guy in the world who actually, maybe he works in childcare. Maybe he does this. You don't know. People make rash judgments. And so I think it's just kind of like because they're dealt an easier hand, it's like, that's ridiculous. Because I think the thing that actually makes me upset about it is you're getting treated better than you should. People aren't judging you correctly. People are judging you incorrectly. And I think you misuse that. I think a lot of people who are attractive abuse it.
Did you watch 30 Rock?
Yeah, but it was never my thing.
There was an episode where Liz Lemon is dating this really hot guy, and she realizes he's really bad at a lot of things in his life, and just nobody's ever told him.
Yeah, it's 100% true. I've even like, you don't judge them the same, and so if like an attractive person does a bunch of dumb stuff, you're like, oh, they're so like charismatic and like they don't even care what people think. But it's like, no, they're just dumb. They're just dumb. This is like a trick that I think people should use more often, especially in relationships. Because let's just say I'm friends with a lot of white women, and they're making mistakes because they're going like, he's
Us?
so yeah, absolutely yes, you and the rest of you, because they're like. He turned out to be such an asshole. It's like, he didn't turn out to be an asshole. He was an asshole when you met him. You were just like, he's so like direct with me. Like, I like how he just tells me what he thinks. But you don't like you're not actually judging him. You're just going like, he's hot. That's really what it is.
And then excuses.
It's like, he's hot. It's like a modifier. It's like a modifier on things. If someone does X, but they're hot, it's X plus 2. Instead of like, but if they're ugly, it's X minus 2. It's just your opinion on it. Like, you know when Sims get that little thing on the top where it's like friendship plus plus or like friendship minus minus. It's like
I don't know Sims.
Well, you know what?
Sorry.
That's on you because everyone else is going to know what I mean. So I'm going to finish saying.
Okay.
But there's a plus. Basically, when you say something nice to people that they like, it's like, oh, your friendship with them has gone up. And then if you say something they don't like, it's like, oh, friendship has gone down. And imagine if 80% of the things you said made friendship go up. That's a hot person. That's a hot person.
Yes.
Is if anything, I could literally just be here and be like, "You wearing a shirt?" And you'd be like, "Oh, I am." Oh my God, you noticed. That's crazy. You're so like attentive. But it's nothing. That was a nothing statement. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think that's why I don't like it, because I'm like, they're not. It's like, that's not them. You're giving them things that they don't deserve. That's definitely, you know what? I definitely just figured something out. It's because they're getting stuff they don't deserve. I don't like that. I don't like when people get things they don't deserve.
What if it's you?
Love it. I love getting things I don't deserve. Love it. Of course, everyone likes getting things that they don't deserve, but getting things that you don't, seeing everyone else just go like, why are you doing that? Because I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, because you see someone and then you're like, why are you doing that? And they're like, what do you mean? And you're like, what? But you're treating them wrong. You're doing it wrong. It's literally me. And this is just me being a child, because in school I was the smart kid because I was born in January, so I had like a bit of an edge on people. And so I would be like, you're doing it wrong. And so that's the same feeling as me just going like, you're doing it wrong. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
This is absolutely how I feel. And look, is it an issue? Do I overly judge hot people? Yeah. But I also think that it's important to do that. Because you know what? Someone needs to tell them how they really are.
I love it.
I think that's kind. I think if a hot person is doing the wrong things and they're an asshole and they're this and that, I'm a good person for telling them.
You're the hero that we need.
I'm a hero. Straight out. I'm a hero. I'm incredible. I'm the most modest guy that I know. And I'm just overall, people tell me that I'm a lot like the Buddha. I don't think that. But you know, a lot of people tell me.
Similar vibe.
Yeah, exactly. Just, you know, very very similar in a lot of ways. Similar body shape. I feel like I look like a pregnant pug. I don't like my body. Anytime I see myself with a shirt off, I'm like, I look like a pregnant pug. Just like you're like all of those like, just you're like, what's with all these things? What are those? Are those growths?
But you're also young, right? Like, how old are you?
I'm 14.
20.
I'm 22.
Okay. So, do you think you'll age out of it?
Age out of what?
The not liking how you look.
I don't know. I don't really, you know, it's just something. Everyone has their thing. It's just kind of my thing, you know?
Do you think there's anything you're going to age out of, or you're counting on aging out
No,
of
I'm going
it?
to be this way until I die. I'm going to be exactly the same way until I die. No, I know I can't wait to get old. I think I'm going to make a great old person. Because I'm not a great young person. I don't like going to clubs. To me, they're like the fucking grounds. And I don't like prowling the fucking grounds. You just go there and everyone has horny in their eyes. I don't like it. I'm not a good young person, but I'm a great old person. I complain. I have strong opinions. Like I'm made to be old. I'm mad at people all the time. I'm made to be an old person.
So not even middle age. Like, you want to be elderly.
70. I'd be a great 70-year-old. Just sitting on the stoop going, ah. That's what I would do. That would be the sound that I make.
Will you be an old man who yells at cloud?
No, I'm not going to yell. You know what? Actually, yes. I'll yell at whatever. Because I think I just want my voice to be heard. I just want people to go, yeah, all right, man, calm down. I just want people to acknowledge me.
Does it relax you, though, to complain?
1 second. Do you mind if I burp?
Yes, go ahead. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Do you think it relaxes you to complain?
Absolutely. Not only does it relax me, it's a form of connection, I think. Because there's 2 different types of complaining. One type of complaining is expecting the other person to just take it all on. The other type of complaining is trying to complain so that we can connect. If we both complain about the same thing and we're like, oh, have you ever dealt with this club owner? Oh my God, he just sounds like... And then we connect over it.
Yeah.
But if I'm just like... If I'm talking about someone you don't even know, and I'm like, oh, so the other day Brad, and I don't even tell you who Brad... I hate when people do that, by the way. When they're telling you a story and they go, yeah, and by the way, then Brad was over there, and I'm like, who's Brad? No one... Whatever. But, yeah, I think that I lost my train of thought. I'm so bad at keeping on track.
But it's like the connection through the mutual complaining.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we can, because it's funny to complain. Complaining is funny. And so, you can really get to know somebody by what are they complaining about? What don't they like? They're really just telling you, I don't like this. And that's telling you something about themselves.
I find it very comforting to complain to someone who agrees with me.
Yeah.
Like more so than someone agreeing with me on the things I like.
Because it's so easy to like things. But when you don't like things, it's a hard stance.
Like you're lonely in it, and then you want someone else to be like, I hate that too.
Yeah, have you ever met somebody that everyone likes, and you're like, why do people like this guy? And then you meet someone who doesn't like him, you're like, I know, right? Because it feels like you're being validated, I guess.
Yeah. But do you meet complainers who, I don't know how to explain it. It's like maybe they refuse to take comfort, and then you hate them. Because they're just complaining.
They complain and they don't want to... It's not about the complaining for them. It's like they're just annoyingly bad. They're always in a bad mood. Like if I'm complaining but I'm in a good mood, different than if I'm complaining I'm in a bad mood. Because if I'm in a bad mood, it's like no one wants to talk to someone who's in a bad mood. So even if I'm complaining, but if I'm in a good mood like I am right now, and I'm complaining, it's just me going like, oh, isn't this crazy? That's what a lot of like is. Oh, you seen this? It's crazy, isn't it? It's just complaining, but in a good mood.
So when you're in a bad mood, you got to shut up and then take your complaints to when you're in a good mood and then bring them to people.
And then you can talk about
and
it.
Get them validated.
Because then you can also make the connection where like, we can talk to somebody and go, I hate bikes. And they go, I know, I hate bikes too. And you go, yeah. But if you're in a bad mood, you're like, shut up.
Okay. Can I get some top complaints?
About what? Just in general? Hate Friday night. I think Friday night sucks. I think people because here's the thing. On Friday nights, the entire city, when you're in a city especially, the entire city agrees that for one night, everyone's going to act homeless. You know what I mean? It's just like, because the other day I was walking to, I was going to Comedy Lab, and I was walking up there, and it was Friday. And I was just walking, and then a woman came, she was, excuse me. Excuse me. Can I do you have a cigarette I can have? I'll buy it I'll buy it. And I was like, no, I don't. I'm sorry, ma'am. And then I kept going. But what I wanted to say was, you're acting too homeless right now. And then she calls her friend up. She's like, wait, you just saved me? Oh my God. Samantha, come over here. And then Samantha comes over and then she's like, oh, I'm sorry. She gets a little too homeless sometimes. Because really what it is people just like being allowed to be pieces of shit. And then if you don't like the fact that they're being pieces of shit, then you're the asshole. It's like, no, I'm a good person. They're like, you're not fun. It's like, yeah, but I'm good. I'm not ruining everyone else's time because I'm selfish.
It's weird because I go out a lot at night to go to comedy clubs, but I'm never out really late. So I kind of forget what day of the week it is. Like I might be out on a Tuesday or a Saturday and I'm in the same mood. I'm just like going out to do a mic and then I'm going home. And then I'll notice people around me and I'll be like, oh my God, why are people acting like that?
Yeah.
Because I've forgotten about the drugs.
If you don't recognize that if people acted the way they act on Friday on a Monday, you'd be like, what's wrong with you?
You're frightened for people because there's girls dressed like not for the weather. And you're like, oh my God, her safety, she's not in control of herself.
That's also another thing. And it's absolutely that is me being like, this isn't you. You've put yourself into a state where it's like you're not enjoyable and you're in danger, which is something that I really don't like. And Yeah, it's all in, having fun, but I don't see it as fun. I get invited by my friends to like go to, oh, let's go to this club, let's go dancing or whatever like that. I was like, I don't want to go dancing with you, especially with my female friends, because it's like, hey, no guy in here is here to dance. Not a single guy is like, yo, what's up, dudes? You want to go dancing tonight? Dude, let's go to the all dudes dance club. Nobody does. No guys are doing that. Every guy in the club is like, who can I trick? That's what they're all doing. Is they're like, who can I dupe tonight? I'm trying to swindle. And then especially my female friends, they'll be like, and this is where the hot thing comes in, is there'll be a guy in the corner who's ugly, and they'll be like, he's creepy, he keeps looking at me. But then there'll be a hot guy, and they go, he keeps looking at me. Do you think he's into me? And I'm like, they're both predators, dude. And then I'm in this weird in between state where I'm like, I don't want to like ruin their fun, but also I feel like I want to protect these people that I care about. And so and it's hard because then if I let them do whatever they want to do, it hurts. It legitimately hurts me to see that. So I don't go out with them. I don't do it because it genuinely is like tough for me to do. I really like going with my friends and like if it's just like 10 of my friends, we go and like we're in their apartment and we're drinking whatever, it doesn't matter, and we're all having a good time. I feel good because we're all safe. We're all with people that we trust. No one here is in danger. There's nothing to watch out for.
I'm a big believer in the living room dance party.
Yeah, because it's fun. And that's another thing, is that they're like, we just want to go out and dance. And it's like, but you don't just want to go out and dance. Because if you wanted to dance, you could do it at home with your friends.
And pick the music, and have the right temperature.
The music, do this. It's not too loud. You can go to the bathroom whenever you want. No creepy guys are there. But that's not what you want, is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. People are on the prowl.
People are on the prowl. And it's like, if you are, just say that. Because it's a negative trait if you're like, you're on the prowl. But if you are, that's why I think it's the fucking grounds. Because you go there, if you go to the fucking grounds, guess what they're doing? Take two guesses. I'll give you 3 guesses. What's happening at the fucking grounds? People are trying to find someone to fuck. And so that's really what I feel like it's for. And if that's what you're doing, that's fine. But I don't want to be there.
You want to avoid.
I want to avoid. I don't want to deal with that. It's also because when people go out and they drink and they get belligerent, and then because again they're not in their right mind. It's just like when people drink, they just become a worse version of themselves. They just become like themselves, but way worse. And it's like, I don't want to be around you when you're just way worse. Why would I want to do that? Hey, you want to come out? We're going to be like really annoying. No, I don't want to be around you then.
Okay, what's your ideal hang?
For me, I genuinely love just sitting down with like group of 4 people, 4 to 6 people. If they want, they can drink a little bit, they can smoke a little bit, but it's nothing excessive, and then we just have a conversation. I really like talking to people. I'm sober, but I find other people drinking or smoking a little bit is really good. Like you get a little bit of a contact buzz. Like if the rest of the room is, it just gets them. Loose. Yeah, and then you're loose because you're loose because they're loose. And absolutely, I fully agree with that. And it's one of the reasons why I like to try and make people feel comfortable if I can, especially if I'm hanging out with them. I want them to feel comfortable. But I don't think that when it's too far, and it's like you're not loose anymore. Being a little bit loose, like, oh, we're going to have 1 beer, or we're going to all share this one joint. It's like, yeah, that's fun because it just like you're less self-conscious, and so you're willing to be a little bit more open, and that's great. But it gets too far when you're not. It's not that you're being open; it's you're just a different person. Yeah, so that's my ideal hang. Is just talking to people. I love talking to people. It's genuinely my favorite thing.
Nice.
Thanks.
What's another complaint?
That's my main one. That's definitely my main one. I don't know. I don't like the way on Friday. Let's go back to Friday nights. I don't like the way people dress either. I hate the way people dress because it's just people wearing tight clothing. It's like, oh, look at my crevices. I bet you like my crevices, don't you? And it's not even, it's also like the men, they're like, look at my crevices. They're all in the right places, huh? And it's also not just attractive people. It's also the person with just, if you have a disgusting body, I don't want to see it either. I don't want to see a good body, a bad body. I want to see no one's crevices. I want nothing to do with anybody's crevice.
Yeah. But I don't like the idea that there's clothes for hot people and there's, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I know. I think
have to, I like that more recently everyone can feel hot and everyone can get dolled up.
Right. I think
or
that,
slutty or whatever. Do we use that anymore?
I do. But I think that, I think you might have misinterpreted what I said. It's not that some people can wear it and some people can't. I don't want anyone wearing it. I want everyone to dress in like an oversized t-shirt and jeans.
Like an Amish community.
Just an Amish, yep. Just like a giant Radiohead t-shirt and then just like some blue jeans. That's what I like people wearing.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, we had a little bit of audio, but as I was saying, it's just I like when people are dressed down because you're focusing solely on on who they are instead of what they look like. And I like that.
And then you want people to focus on who you are and not if you wore.
That's very good therapizing. That's absolutely why I want to do it. Is I want people to focus on who I am instead of what I look like, and I want them to do the same.
It's also just wildly annoying if someone is talking about your outfit, like.
Yeah, but people are nice about it, and they're just like, "Oh, I love your pants." It's a nice thing to say, but I don't like it. I got something here. What I got there?
Fuzz.
Oh.
You have like fuzz in your beard.
Do I? I shouldn't even have a beard.
From my chair.
I shouldn't even have a beard. I should just. I was supposed to shave. Whatever. I'm not very good at keeping up with maintenance. It's tough for me to shower. It's genuinely tough for me to shower because I hate the feeling of wet hair on my skin, and because my hair is so long, it takes a long time to dry. It's actually, if I see someone else with wet hair, or even thinking about myself having wet hair, it's uncomfortable for me.
Because of the feeling of it?
Yeah, I don't like the feeling of it. Like
Is it like a scratchy sweater kind of a thing?
Yeah, imagine you were wearing a scratchy sweater, but like times 5. That's how it feels to me.
It's worse than that.
It's really, really bad. Imagine you had a scratchy sweater and wet socks, and you like, I don't know, had a wedgie. Like that's how it feels to me.
It's so weird because I wouldn't really think about how my hair feels when it's wet, but I love taking a shower just because the shower is it's like a reset for me.
That's the nice thing about showers is, and it's one of the reasons that I like to do them every morning. I don't want to wake up. I almost never want to wake. Not because I'm like, but just I'm like, it's a thing to do, and I got to start the day, and then I don't really know what I'm gonna be up to, and so for me, when I wake up. When I get out of bed, first thing I do is I put music on, but then I try to get in the shower, and I like to do a cold shower because it wakes you up, but it feels really good. It feels really good, and so I'd like to do that because it feels like I'm ready, you know?
Amazing. I've never heard. I know people do cold showers, but I think of it as like something people suffer through. Not
you do.
Like that they enjoy.
I enjoy the suffering.
That's amazing.
No, it's not amazing. It's a bad thing. I like, when I was younger, I used to stare in the sun to see how long I could do it. Now I'm colorblind. I legitimately used to be like in the car with my family, driving to wherever, and I'd be in the back seat just staring at the sun. And my eyes would start to hurt, and I'd go, "Don't stop." I would like, "Don't stop. Just keep staring as long as you can." Or I would put something in the microwave, and then the plate would be really hot, and I would pick it up, and then it would start burning my hands, and I'd go, "Don't let it go until you get to the table." And it would like legitimately burn my hands, but I would just go, "Don't let go."
Like as a test of like to improve?
I guess so. I really don't know why I used to do it, but it was like it's innate in me. It's something that I do where I'm just like, "Don't." I'm like, "Do it." I'm like, "Just do it. Just see how long you can do it."
That's amazing. I've never heard of that one either. I don't even like running in the summer because I feel like my body wants to protect itself. I don't think, I should push through this.
Oh, I hate running. Running's one of my least favorite things. It didn't matter because I played sports. I played basketball. I played volleyball. I was even on like starting lineups of teams. I always was the slowest and I always was the most out of breath. I don't know why. Didn't matter how much I Didn't matter how much I practiced, how much I ran. It was always so much easier for everyone else than it was for me. I just couldn't do it.
That's weird. You're just naturally not a runner.
I'm naturally not a runner. It's not what I do.
Do you like walking?
Love walking. I walk like thousands upon thousands of steps a day. I love to walk. I hate walking in the city because there's nowhere to really walk, but I love walking in like a nice part of downtown. Like you just go and it's like, it's a Jewish neighborhood.
You want to walk in a Jewish neighborhood?
The nicest neighborhoods. And I don't think anyone else is going to disagree with that. They're the nicest neighborhoods.
Like, what's a Jewish neighborhood?
I don't know the names of it. I just know how to get there.
You know when you're in a Jewish neighborhood.
Oh, I can tell. I can always tell the second I step into a Jewish neighborhood.
What happens?
The elevators work automatically. When the houses get bigger, and no, it's just like there's a feeling about it. Half my family was Jewish.
Which half?
My mom's side.
Nice.
And my dad's side was Italian, and closer with that side, but there was such a difference. I could always feel the difference between the two.
But isn't Italian a nice vibe too?
It's a good. I really liked it, and I like walking in those areas too, but they're different. One of them is a lot louder, lot not grungier, but like a little bit grungier. And I loved being on that side of the family because people were loud. People would tell you what they think. On the other side, it was, and that side wasn't like not everyone was Jewish. Some people were a little bit this, a little bit that. So I don't really know the whole dynamics of my family, if I'm being honest, especially because I wasn't close with that side. But they on that side, they absolutely. We're a little more like, yeah, my life's going good. How's your life going? Like a little bit more competitive, a little bit more like that, instead of just being outward and yelling at each other.
So wait, which side is outward and yelling?
Italian.
And you like that better?
I like that better when I'm in it, but if I'm in a neighborhood where everyone's yelling, come on, I don't want to do that. I want to go to the quiet one. I want to go to the quiet one with the nice foliage. Jewish neighborhoods, the best foliage.
But are they quieter?
Yes. Absolutely, they're quieter. And here's how they're quieter. Is the stereotypes are this, and they're fairly true, is that Italian people talk with their hands. They're very loud, very expressive. Jewish people talk with their hands. They're very expressive.
But not loud.
Not necessarily as loud. They can be, but it's not a projection. It's more of like a.
Interesting. I'm Greek on my dad's side, and that
Gross.
was.
I'm sorry. I'm just messing with you.
That was like we didn't. My mom's side was sort of spread out and not around us a lot. So that was like the side we were around a lot, and yeah. But I just kind of think Greek, Italian, and Jewish is all the same. I don't really.
They're
think
so
of them
similar.
as like I thought we were all yelling.
There's, in all honesty, in just a generalization, very similar. All of them are very similar. I just noticed, at least I guess for me, that if I'm in a neighborhood where I go, this is an Italian neighborhood, it's loud. That's my personal experience. It's a little loud. But I like it. I like when people are loud. I like when people are expressive, especially because, and I know people like this, where they didn't grow up around people that were loud, or they grew up around people where if they were loud, it was a bad thing. Like it wasn't an everyday thing. It was just a loud thing. Or sorry, a bad thing. And if you're ever loud with them, they get scared. They're like, why are you mad? Like, what's wrong? Are you okay? But meanwhile, to me, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm fine. Why are you asking me if I'm not? Like, it's just... It's a different culture, a different way you grow up, and then you have a different reaction when you're older, I guess. And I like people yelling.
See, I think I'm kind of reserved, so then people don't realize I'm very comfortable with yelling and confrontation. Like,
Yeah.
I feel safe around more aggressive people. And
No,
a
you
little
don't
bit,
seem that way.
Yeah, it's like a deceptive...
Absolutely. You very much seem like the type of person where it's like, can you stop? Like, because I've gotten that before. Oh, I've gotten, when people tell me to be quiet, it makes me so incredibly angry. I've gotten this before. Hey, I want to punch him in the face. I want to them into the ground. I want to hurt them. Because it's like, don't tell me to be quiet.
It's wildly offensive.
It's very offensive.
And for me, I'm usually with someone, though, because it's usually like you and me are talking loud and someone else is like, hey, you two. I'm not usually, because I think I tend to like go with the person I'm talking with. Mm-hmm. So if I'm loud, it's usually because you were loud. So if I don't have it where I'm talking to someone and they're like, be quiet. I think I'd want to hit them.
I've had this before where I was in the car with a friend and then someone I don't like, but they were a friend. I don't like them, but my friend likes them. And so they were there and they have a car, so they were driving. But they picked us up and I was just having a good time. I'm talking, I'm being loud, and they go, hey, do you mind just like keeping it down? Oh, fuck you.
God. Oh my God.
Fuck you. Don't tell me to do that.
And you can't hit the driver, right?
No, well, you know something? I did open the door on the highway. I opened the door. And, like, they got really mad at me. They're like, don't do that. And I was like, I didn't open it, like, because the wind pressure is going to make it so I can't. So I just kind of opened it and, like, there was, like, it went, and then I closed it because I'm not an idiot.
Was this in response to them telling you to be quiet?
Yeah, but, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. It was, like, 5 minutes later, but it was because they said that.
But what was the exact prompt when it happened?
I don't know. They said something, and I was like, I'm getting out. And so I just, like... And to this day, they're like, you shouldn't have done that. And I'm like, we didn't
They
die.
bring it up?
Yeah. You're a baby. Don't be a baby. Stop being a baby. Well, I don't want to die. Shut up.
So you're still forced into this person's company?
No, not anymore. I had a discussion with this person, and I'm not going to use names, but I had a discussion. Never mind. I'm not going to use names. I had a discussion with this person where I was like, hey, I don't like you. I think you're a bad person. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And they were like, well, thank you very much for telling me this. I'm going to use it to reflect, and I'm really going to take what you said into account. And I was like, no, you're not. Like, because that was part of it, is I was like, you're manipulative. Because I know that they are, and they are. And they were, that's what they were doing right there. Because I know they were mad at me, but they were just like, but I'm a good guy. You can't be mad at me because I'm a good guy. I'm like, no, you're not. You can't trick me.
So what were the other points?
They were very disrespecting to my friends. They treated them poorly. They are very fake. There's a lot of things. I mean, I don't want to go too much into it because I don't, like, as much as I don't like the person, I don't really want to make it a whole thing. Yeah. But that was it. It's very much, I'm like, you're manipulative. You're fake. I don't like the way you treated my friends, and they're not going to say anything, so I'm going to say something.
That's amazing.
I think also I was like, because part of it was definitely I really didn't like this guy from the beginning. And so after he turned out to be bad, because I thought he was going to be, after he turned out, I was like, great. Now's my chance.
You got to say everything.
I got to say everything. Everything.
Amazing.
Yeah. I don't do that very often because I don't feel the need to do that to people very often. I met someone the other day, and when I started talking to them, I was like, I really like this person. They're smart. They're great. I like it. They're funny. I started talking to them, and just throughout the night, I started going like, oh, you're not great, are you? Like, they just weren't, like, they were smart, and they were funny, but the entire time, like, they weren't having a conversation. They were just, like, trying to, like, attack and be like, you're wrong because of this. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Instead of, like, just having a conversation. Or even if I was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, if I asked a question, they would be like, because da-da-da-da. That's not how they sounded, but that's how they sounded in my head. Yeah. And it's just like, why are you doing that? That's annoying.
Like, is it a lack of agreeability? Or just...
It's not even agreeability. It's that they're not being cooperative. They're being competitive in a conversation.
Yeah.
I want to be cooperative. I want to have a conversation together. I don't want it to be me versus you, convo go. Like, that's not how I like to do things.
What do you think makes someone... Is that just competitiveness in general?
I think that it's pride. I think that they think that they're smart or that they... and they want to show everybody how smart they are.
Because some really competitive people don't do that in conversation.
No.
Like, they put their competitiveness in something they're really good at.
Yeah. if they focus it in the right areas. I don't think it's because they're very competitive. I actually don't think that they're naturally competitive. I think that they have an excess of pride, and they want to prove to you how great they are. That's what it seems like to me, at least.
Yeah.
Because if I was in a conversation with you and you were talking, and then I was like, "Oh, you're wrong about that," it's like, why do you feel the need to say that instead of being like, "Well, you know what I heard." It's like just the verbiage that's used.
Okay, so something I noticed is some people do this a lot where they almost constantly tell the same style of a story. So every time you talk to them, it's like, it's always about like this guy who knew everything and no one listened to him. They love an underdog story. And then,
oh, and they're always that guy?
Like, they're not telling a story about themselves, but you wonder if, like, why are they always telling the same story? And different people.
Can you give me an example?
It has to be a person you know, but they always, whenever you're talking to them, they're always telling the same type of a story. But then I started to overthink it, and I was like, do I have a story I always tell, and do we possibly all have a story that we always tell?
I think it's a good question. I think the story that I tell the most is something that I think is funny, where it's like, I was listen to the situation where I was accidentally a fool, which I think is funny. If I'm telling you a story and I'm like, want to hear about this time where like no one thought I was great, and then I proved to them how good I was, yeah, you're like, who's this for? You're trying to, whenever someone's telling you anything, whether it be a story or just a conversation, it's like, what are you trying to do right now? You can tell. That's another thing with how you can tell if someone's good or bad.
But I don't know that some people know what they're doing.
They don't. But it's naturally, people naturally express their perspective and their point of view, whether it be through masks or whether it be through just telling stories, or however they do it, is everything everyone ever does is a reflection of them. And even if they're not aware of it, you can notice some things. Like, I mean, I'm a loud person. I'm very out there, and this entire time I've been giving you my perspective, and people have told me this before, that I speak with conviction, as if I know everything.
I like it. It's very fun.
Thank you. For me personally, and I've thought about it, I don't think I know everything. I know I don't know anything, and I'm open to asking questions and being like, hey, I don't know what that means. Can you tell me? But I know that when I speak this way, the reason that I'm doing it is because I'm going, this is my opinion. But in what's in my subtext, which a lot of people don't get, which I should probably be better at, is, what do you think about my opinion? What's your opinion?
And I think when you talk with certainty, it makes it easier to talk to someone if they just pick a side on anything.
Yeah.
Because they can say, well, this is my taste. And then I can say, well, here's my taste. Or did you consider this? As opposed to some people are very vague. Like, they don't want to commit to anything. They're hard to talk to.
Wishy-washy. They've got nothing to say. They're just like, you're like, oh, I hate bugs. You're like, yeah, bugs can be bad. What are you doing? I'll say this, is that when I was in high school, and like anytime I was interested in a person, I had this strategy where I would get into like a disagreement with them, because then I could talk to them, and the disagreement would go on for a long time. Didn't work. Let me just tell you that never worked, not once. And so, yeah, but it is a way of starting conversation where if you disagree on something, it goes, this is your point, this is my point, let's go. That is competitive discussion. But it's competitive in a way where it doesn't really matter who wins. It's not really about who wins. We're being competitive right now just because it's fun to be competitive.
Yeah. There's some people I like debating with because I feel like they're sharpening me. And then other people I just feel like they're being annoying and they should shut up. But I can't really describe the distinction between it.
I think I know the distinction. If we were debating right now and then you were telling me so just tell me your opinion on something and just make it like 2 sentences.
People drive too much in this city.
No, and you're wrong about that. Let me tell why. If they're interrupting you, they're not letting you finish your statements. They're just going, the second that you say something wrong, I'm going to go at you because I found an opening. Then it's not fun. But if you say your entire point, and then I say my entire point, and sure, whenever there's a disagreement, people interrupt, because also people's points drag on. But if people are just waiting for you to say anything wrong so they can come at you, it's not fun.
Yeah. There's also, the concept of like intellectual honesty. So like if I'm disagreeing with you because I think, you want to go do this thing tonight and I think it's going to be too much money, I should argue with you honestly, which is the problem I have with it is that it's too much money.
Oh.
But what if I'm saying it's too much money, but it's actually because like if we do that, we're going to run into someone I don't want to run
Which
into.
is
or I don't like new
dishonesty.
things.
Okay,
So
I've never heard that before.
It's weird. Like it kind of came up in something I read like a couple years ago. And then I was like, this is such a good lens to view people through.
Yeah. And I also think that that's something that I try to do, which is and it's also, it really helps you be yourself, is if you're being honest and you go, hey, I don't want to go to this place because this guy's going to be there. And then they can go, oh, we're not going to undo it. And you go, yeah, but I think that we might, and I don't really want to take that chance. Then you get to see, how does this person actually respect you as actual you? Because otherwise you're pretending to be someone that you're not. You're going, I don't want to go because it's too much money. That's not what you actually feel, right? And so, from at least in my opinion, and I'm bad at it, but I'm really trying to get better at it, is if someone says something, I try to tell them my genuine problems with it. Because then I always, and this is what I think is hard about it, trying to remember, no matter what they say, you can always, you have the ability to go, I hear what you're saying, I still don't want to do it. And then you can bow out.
And sometimes it's like it's more vulnerable when you're being yourself. Like
it always is more vulnerable.
Like if you're asking someone, like if you're saying like, well, I don't want to do it because it makes me feel uncomfortable. You're asking that person to like care about your comfort. And so it's really painful if they're like, well, suck it up, you fucking loser. But then at least you know.
Yeah, no, and I've gotten that before, and it sucks. It's not great to feel that way. And that's why I think, because you want to avoid that, you go, how can I get my end result without being vulnerable?
Yeah. And I feel like it's kind of okay to do if you're under a certain age and you're with a lot of people, because young people are terrible. Yeah. And you're allowed to just
Thank
defend
you.
yourself.
Someone said it.
But like, I'm in my 40s, so at this point, like, I just need to not be hanging out with anyone who isn't kind.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're 40 and you're acting that way, it's like you're just bad for the rest of your life. How many people do you know they were 52 and they were like, let's turn it around? It doesn't happen. So I think that I absolutely agree with you. And yeah, if you're in a big group, you definitely should you don't need to be vulnerable. If you're in a big group, it makes sense to not be vulnerable, because you don't want to be vulnerable in front of all these people or that person or that person. But if you're one-on-one with somebody that you trust, you can be vulnerable.
For sure.
Yeah. I think, is that...
Yes, I did not think of how I would wrap it up.
That's no problem, Do you want me to take over? I can wrap it up.
Yes, please.
All right, thank you. What's the name of this?
It's the Karen Mitches podcast.
Thank you guys for watching or listening to the first episode of the Karen Mitches podcast. We've had a wonderful guest, Andrew Basso. He's been fantastic. You can find him on one social media. You can find him on Instagram at @official_Andrew Basso. Really, really funny guy. He's just one of the best in the city. Really underground. People don't give him enough credit. He's been called the greatest to ever do it. Not by him, but by other people. So if you want to check him out, but also there will be more episodes of this, I imagine, on Spotify, on YouTube. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope that you have, what do you want your sign off to be? I hope you have Mitches fun. Cut that.
Thank you, Andrew.